this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Monday! This is the War Report. The War Report. Talking about Andrew Hammond, the Hamburglar, coming to New Jersey. The Hamburglar is coming to New Jersey. As we're streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network. We got the Hamburgers. We've got the Hamburger. Tom Fitzgerald making the deal today. Making the deal today as the Devils finally get a goaltender as a stopgap for now. Welcome, everybody. I'm your host, Sam Wu. And let's take this off. How are you, everybody? There we go. Just having a little fun here, having some burgers. The Hamburglar in New Jersey, streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network. So, was this a move that you thought that Tom Fitzgerald should have made? I told you earlier in the week, the last 2 weeks, I thought that the Devils should, well, stand pat. If the deal's not there, don't make it. And that's what Tom Fitzgerald did. And I like this move. I like this move for a variety of reasons. Nate Shar, one of the pieces that came from the Taylor Hall trade from Arizona, being shipped off to Montreal. Let's talk about what happened today, because sometimes I think less is more. Tom Fitzgerald did not force the issue. He did not look like a Devils GM worried about his job status. He did what he thought was best for the team. I believe that. It was not a very sexy trade deadline day that we hope for, or like the free agencies of the past, that exuberant excitement of the unknown making your New Jersey Devils better. I thought today, overall, I thought today in the last couple of weeks, Tom Fitzgerald did a great job by practically doing nothing. I said it before, and I'll say it again, that the Devils should stand pat, but I did expect possibly that PK Subban would be moved, possibly Jimmy Vesey, but they were not before the deadline. But let's talk about Andrew Hammond, the Hamburglar. I got my burgers here. I got my hamburgers, my McDonald's hamburgers. No sponsorship, but hey, you know what? Money does talk, all right? What can we expect out of the Hamburglar? Why did Tom Fitzgerald make this deal? Number one, the Devils need a goalie. Now, when you think about that, we were all thinking, okay, a lot of us were thinking a number one goalie for the future. But then there was a gentleman named Nico Dawes that came onto the scene and had a great sample, gave a great sample of what he could do and what the future would look like for the New Jersey Devils franchise. He played well enough for them to win. He was ahead of his time. I mean, they called him up on an emergency basis practically and held his own. And rather than expedite Nico Dawes' development, and Scotty and I had talked about this on Devils After Dark, I felt that Nico Dawes needs to develop and don't rush him, and he could be possibly in the AHL next season for most of next season, but you're going to need a stopgap in between with Mackenzie Blackwood, assuming that he is back in fully healed. So when we talk about Andrew Hammond, I think, given what's gone on with Jonathan Bernier, this was a good pickup for what he really is. He did a heck of a job as an emergency basis throughout his career that you could rely on him as your third goaltender. Is Andrew Hammond the future? Probably not. But he is a character player, somebody in the locker room. If you remember Johan Hedberg, when he backed up Martin Brodeur, you've got a veteran leader that Tom Fitzgerald wanted for this team in that position, not to threaten so much to be the 1A goalie, but to be that veteran leader to keep the team loose and calm and rely on in case there's an injury or in case stretches of your young goaltenders are slumping. This was a very good move for those reasons. Tom Fitzgerald, in his press conference, did say, Nate Shar, end of his contract. We threw the name out there to Montreal. They wanted him. And now Tom Fitzgerald finally gets a veteran goaltender back to New Jersey to at least finish out the season without having to rely heavily on Nico Dawes. You do not want to burn him out. Why? Because the Utica Comets are going to be in the playoffs, and you want Nico Dawes to absolutely develop and learn how to win in the postseason. What better way to do it at the AHL level? And you don't want him to be burnt out by the time the AHL playoffs start in Utica. Absolutely not. I'm taking your comments, questions, YouTube Live, Let's Go Devils channel, Facebook Live, at Let's Go Devils Podcast, on Twitter, at Let's Go Devils Pod. And yeah, I will say that this was a great move because the Devils really need to keep their pieces. They need to keep the continuity. And the stage at their development, you can already see glimpses of what the Devils will be doing in a couple years. Remember what I said, 2024, 2025. It seems like a long way from now since the Devils fans have suffered through this massive rebuild. But this is rebuild 2.0 under Tom Fitzgerald, and you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. He did not make a mistake. He would have made a mistake if he mortgaged the future and broke that continuity. Look at what the Seattle Kraken have done by stockpiling draft picks. Does that remind you of the New Jersey Devils not too long ago? Look at how some of these draft picks have come under Tom Fitzgerald. Let's go with Alexander Holtz, Dawson Mercer, Mohamedulin, the mystery man. We don't know yet. Then you go in the next year's draft. Oh, by the way, don't forget Nico Dawes. Third round pick, I believe. Fourth round, third, fourth, I don't remember. And look about the 2021 draft. Look at what Luke Hughes is doing at the collegiate level. even when Owen Power goes off to play the Olympics, World Juniors, there it is. Whoop, there it is. You've got Luke Hughes, Hobie Baker finalist in the running. And you can't discount that. You just can't. And this is a good move by New Jersey by standing pat. I can't say that enough. Tom Fitzgerald was not desperate this trade deadline. He did not act desperate because he was not desperate. He's got a good thing going here, but we really won't know for another couple years, was Fitzgerald right? But I can tell you right now, what we know today, he made the right move today. Not burning out Nico Dawes and throwing him in there. Now you could put Nico Dawes down at the AHL level. The only thing, though, I will say about Andrew Hammond, it's like the optics don't look good. So you traded one of your players, Nate Shar, and you got an injured third goalie back. What are you doing? But according to Tom Fitzgerald, I don't want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but according to Tom Fitzgerald, that Andrew Hammond has been practicing and he's almost ready. And you're going to have to take Fitzy at his word that this is not another Jonathan Bernier scenario, and it's not another Corey Crawford, 1 day or 2 days and he's done. Also, it didn't help that Zacha was hurt. It may have changed things. Steve Tartas, we had assets no one wanted. PK, VC, and injured Zacha, LOL. And you're right. And you know what? That was just, awful timing. But you know what? That's when you stay patient. You stick to your guns. The Hamburglar, he's a New Jersey Devil. Now, the real development of Nico Dawes can now continue. He's got NHL experience. You give him a taste. You give him the appetizer. But let him have the full course meal in the AHL level and learn how to win. And then when he's ready, truly ready, big time in the NHL, Nico Dawes, he could be your number one goaltender for your New Jersey Devils. I'll say it again. Nico Dawes very well be the number one goaltender for your New Jersey Devils. As what Tom Fitzgerald did say to the Devils and Black members, also known as Devil season ticket holders, he said, you are looking at the future Stanley Cup champions. Some of these players. Depends on which team. Can they put it together? Can the New Jersey Devils put it together? Surprised that PK Subban did not leave. Could it be that PK may stick around? I'm not sure, not likely, but you never know about these things. Damon Severson, he was on record saying that he loves it in New Jersey. And you know what? You got to give him some credit for saying that. A lot of us have been hard on Damon Severson. Hey, you like the hamburger? Remember the old hamburgers at McDonald's? They still sell them, believe it or not. Hi, I'm Andrew Hammond. I'm going to make a save. But yeah. And you know what? This is good. We're going to go with this team to the end of the year. But look at what has happened. Jesper Bratt has now turned into an all-star caliber player for the New Jersey Devils. R. Nunez says on the YouTube Live, would feel better about the trade if we got a 4th round pick along with Hammond. Yeah, but Montreal needs those picks. Yeah, it kind of stinks, but at least Fitzgerald did this right. The season's lost, but you could kind of remain competitive if Hammond is ready to go down the stretch and not ride Nico Dawes, and let Nico Dawes play meaningful games down at the AHL level. Utica needs Nico Dawes. Nico Dawes needs to grow in Utica. And it was nice to see a glimpse of the future, who very well could be your number 1 goaltender for your New Jersey Devils. Also, I'm going to go to Twitter, see what everybody's saying on Twitter. Hit me up at Primetime Sam Wu. That's my Twitter account. You can find this podcast on Twitter at Let's Go Devils Pod. We're also on YouTube Live. R. Nunez. Hello, everybody. Where's Little Fireboy? I haven't seen Little Fireboy. Where's Little Fireboy? But yeah. Maybe it's time for you Devils fans to see a little playoff hockey and travel up to Utica when the playoffs start. Should be fun. Should absolutely be fun. It'd be great. The future's in Utica right now. And the New Jersey Devils, they're gonna get it done. Next season, the expectation this season is just to finish out the season strong, be competitive, but be ready to take it to another level next season where we don't see 7-8 game losing streaks. We don't see 2 or 3 goals within 30 seconds of within each other during a game. I think that's the next step for next season. Consistency. And then on the cusp of the playoffs. But there will be no playoffs, even next season. But the season after, there should be a reasonable expectation. Make the playoffs or else. And I'm talking about that 24-25 season. Make the playoffs or else. Matthew Alvey says, Sam got good humor and IQ. Thank you, Matthew. R. Nunez says, I get it, Sam Wu. I'm sure Fitz did the best he could, not like the NJD were in great bargaining position. Yeah, I mean, you know what? You negotiate with a position of strength, and if it's not there, don't do it. You still got your picks. You still got your young talent. You still got your future. And just remember what this trade deadline, NHL trade deadline 2022 really was. Do not mortgage the future. Stay on course. Stick to your guns. But there should be some urgency right now in that locker room. Win or else. Win or else. And Tom Fitzgerald said something very interesting during his presser. Championships are won with defense. That's the first I've heard from this regime about defense. You know me. I am a defense-first guy. I love defense. I love defense more than offense. I'll be honest with you, I love shutting out the other team. I'd rather win 1-0 than win 10-3. I love defense. I love suffocating defense. And Tom Fitzgerald, who was a pretty good defensive forward, so to speak, Tom Fitzgerald did start to talk about defense, team defense, a team commitment to defense. And those are kind of words I like to listen to. And then I started to listen a little bit more to Tom Fitzgerald. He even acknowledged, our forwards, they are fast and exciting. But we need to get back to team defense, commitment, and making sure your goaltender can see the puck and you're not screening your own goaltender. Remember when we talked about that positioning? Oh, NFZ positioning? Oh, that kind of rings a bell. Hey, you know what? It's good to hear from the chairman of the board, the GM of the Devils, Tom Fitzgerald, talking about that, because that's what I'm talking about. Winning hockey. Protecting the puck at all times, whether offensively or defensively, as what Tom Fitzgerald said in that presser today. These are good, positive steps in the right direction. What I like about Tom Fitzgerald's presser, other than some of the softball questions lobbed at him, but the one thing I did like about his press conference today was he was very honest. Very, very honest and very matter of fact in a very subtle way. Not the flamboyant, this team sucks. These guys need a kick in the butt, in the rear end. Tom Fitzgerald is envisioning a team that commits to defense, and when there is a turnover, the puck is down the other way in the other team's net in a heartbeat. Think about that. A quick strike team that plays very well defensively. We've got one half of the equation, my friends. One half of the equation we do have as New Jersey Devils fans. The other half, Lindy Ruff and the staff need to figure that part out. And they need to figure out their special teams, because it's starting to slide a little bit. Okay, we take this West Coast trip, this Canadian trip. Let's put it aside for a moment. Rody Ryan says, love the Woo Report. Well, love you, Rody Ryan. YouTube Live. Go to Facebook Live. No trade zone, says Steve Tardas. Steve Tardas is full of comments on the Facebook Live. It's great. It's great. Under Ruff, the offense is strictly a quick breakout pass. They are softer than TP5-on-5. Look, we're taking incremental, process-oriented approach in building this team. This year we want Jack Hughes to be Jack Hughes. Check. We know that he's elite now. Because the last couple years, his rookie season and last season, we saw glimpses. But he's starting to put it together. Jesper Bratt wanted to be a core leader of this team. Well, he definitely exceeded our expectations. Check. Put that on the checklist. What else is good? Dougie Hamilton, pretty much as advertised. There's your stud defenseman, number one D guy, number one free agent last year. Signs with New Jersey long term. Good deal. How about Dawson Mercer? Hey, came a little early, but he's having a fine rookie season. There are some positives in this season. I'm not trying to spin it. I don't like spin. I like honesty. Defensively, I think there's been lapses. I think the goaltending needs consistency, but also needs consistency on defense. Who is the most consistent defenseman this season? Jonas Siegenthaler. Another part and piece of that Taylor Hall trade indirectly. coming from the Washington Capitals. Mercer will be a 15-plus year NHL player, says Steve Tardas. You betcha. Patty says, beat those damn Rangers tomorrow. That's all I want. Go Devils. Yeah. Beat those Rangers. Little message for the Hamburglar. You do not lose to the New York Rangers, whether you're injured or not. You just don't. Yeah, this is what the inside of McDonald's hamburger looks like. Look at that. Look at that. Can't believe I actually eat this stuff. Anyway. Got some ketchup, onions. Anyway. The hamburger. And who's going to be Grimace? Who's going to be Grimace on the team? Bill Jordan. What's up, Sam? Not going to lie, I was really disappointed after today, but I need to trust Fitzgerald's vision. Bill, I'm going to tell you something. Bill Jordan on the YouTube Live. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something straight. Let's hit it. The thing with Tom Fitzgerald is he is slowly building this team and rebuilding some of the pieces that was left behind by Ray Shero. But Tom Fitzgerald is not, is not going to mortgage the future because he knows exactly what the future holds right now. He really meant what he said, that the answers are in the room with those guys. And he didn't throw the coaches under the bus. Remember Tom Fitzgerald's resume. He's a former player, an NHL player that had a great career, was even on that Florida Panthers team that made a miraculous run to the Stanley Cup Finals when they were throwing rats on the ice. They had Van Beesbrook in net, Tom Fitzgerald. You got Scott Mellenby. You remember that team? Jovo Cop, Ed Jovanovski. Remember that team? And, Fitzy was on that team. That was a great team to watch. Too bad they fell short. That was an underdog team. An underdog team. Donnell Weaver says the Devils only got Hammond because Gilly sucks in net. Donnell, I'm going to tell you something. We don't know if Mackenzie Blackwood would really come back in April. I hope he would, just to get him going, but also get a small sample size of what we're really looking at in goal. I also like to say that Gillies, look, I'm going to defend the guy. He's put in really an impossible situation. So leave Gillies alone. He and Hammond serve a purpose right now to get us through this season so Nico Dawes can develop and Mackenzie Blackwood can heal, no pun intended, his heel and not be rushed back to save the day. Also, Jonathan Bernier is still hurt. He's going to be hurt for a while, folks, and he's eating up that 4.2 something million next year, my friends. It's a good deal. Didn't like losing Nate Shar. I kind of had a little hope for him, but the bottom line is you got to give up something to get something. Donnell Weaver also asked, are you shocked that Subban, Severson, or Zaka didn't get traded? I'm shocked that Subban didn't get traded. Not that I wanted him to get traded. I think he's a good part of the team right now. Not at that salary, but you know what? Maybe there's something in the works. Maybe they're going to buy him out so he could sign as a free agent for a more reasonable salary as kind of a token of their appreciation for what he has done for the New Jersey Devils, both on and off the ice. All the community work that PK Subban has done. I will say that, my friends. He's done a lot of the intangibles. Remember when his press conference in front of the fans, and it was all PK, all the marketing. But yeah, Steve Charters, I think the Devils Medical is affiliated with the Mets. We almost got the oh no. The Devils are not as bad as the Mets. I mean, the Mets. Oh, I'll never forget the trade Scott Kazmir for Victor Zambrano, Victor Zambrano. And as soon as the guy gets the ball, he blows out his elbow. It's not like that. Not like that. But back in the day, the Devils had Bill Murray as their trainer, and they won 3 cups with him, as far as I'm concerned. Donnell Weaver writes, which teams do you think got better at the trade deadline, Mr. Sam Wu? To be honest with you, Donnell, I don't really care about the other teams. As long as the Rangers don't make it far in the playoffs, I'm pretty cool with that. The Flyers are pretty much out. Trading Claude Giroux, the captain, homegrown Flyer. Must be sad for Flyer fans, but you know what? That's fine with me. We're growing that injury legacy here in New Jersey, says Steve Charters. Well, let's put it this way. I think the injury legacy that we've really, as New Jersey Devils fans, have seen under the Tom Fitzgerald era is you need to get your head away from the puck when it's shot at you. I mean, Dougie Hamilton, jaw injury. You remember Nico Hischier getting, that freak injury from PK Subban, just one puck to the face after the other. But yeah, Steve Charters, Claude G here next year in New Jersey. No, I know. The Devils don't need Claude Giroux. What the Devils now need is maturity. They need goaltending. And they need a big bopper, a big scorer, but not at a high price. They need a winger. They need a winger. Tomas Tatar, I don't think. I don't think he's the right player, but you know what? He can play next year. Devils won't get better if the owners don't want to spend the money. Donnell, let me tell you something. They are spending the money, but they're spending it wisely at this point. There's nothing to spend money. It's a tricky question because there is a salary cap in the NHL. You're paying Jack Hughes at, I think it's a discount, $8 million a year starting next year. You're paying Nico Hischier what, 7.2, 7.5 for the next several years. They're not even entering their prime. You need to save that money once this team gets into playoff positioning and you can make a run of cup. You want to have that cap space there to go all in. Now, if the Devils ownership group don't do it, say if the Devils are in the playoffs and they have the ability to go after a free agent, but they don't because they want to save money and not win the cup, then yes, you can make that case. But I think good salary cap money management is paramount because that's how you can start weaponizing. The Devils have been weaponizing the last few years, unfortunately, but you're weaponizing. You don't want to be in cap hell. You do not want to be in cap hell. Hopefully that bopper is Holtzy, says Bill Jordan, YouTube Live. Oh, I hope so too. I mean, heck, it would save Tom Fitzgerald some time and money going to find one. Will he be that guy? I hate to put all the pressure on Alexander Holtz, but is he that guy? And this is why the AHL playoffs is so important. This is why Utica needs to go far. This is why we got Andrew Hammond, because we need Nico Dawes leading the way in Utica. In Utica. And this is a great day. You know what? This is a great day because Tom Fitzgerald didn't even really fire a shot and make a big splash because he didn't need to. And that's a happy thing. You may not see it now, Devils fans, but it is a really good thing that Tom Fitzgerald stuck to his guns because, A, he's a man of conviction. He believes in the players in the locker room, and he meant what he said, and he's kept the roster together even through all the mess and hell that Devils fans had to endure. He stuck to his guns. Mac Black, Mackenzie Blackwood got a new agent, says Rody Ryan. You think that means anything? Yeah, he wants big bucks. But you know what, Mac Black? I like Mac Black. But your leverage starts to really wane when you haven't played many games consistently, getting hurt, and also when you have Nico Dawes and Akira Schmid that are developing as we speak. Will Mac Black get the money he wants? I don't think so at this point. I don't think so. Is Mac Black potentially, he's a pretty good goalie? Absolutely. But again, it's money management. You can't get rid of these big contracts very easily if you give one to Mac Black, Mackenzie Blackwood. That's called gambling. You don't want to gamble the future. If Mac Black decides to leave or hold out, so be it. Next one up. And I hate to be cruel, but that's just part of the business. But also at the same token, Mac Black deserves to get paid. It's just a matter of how much. It's just a matter of how much. Hammerbag is going to bag him, says Craig Best. Yeah, I would think so. I would think so. I'm all about Andrew Hammond here because you get a good person, a good guy in the locker room, decent goaltender, not championship caliber, 70 games a year like Marty Brodeur, Hall of Fame, Vezina, whatever. No, you get a player with good values, plays hard, a likable, charismatic player that could turn out to be like a Moose Hedberg. I'll take it. I will take it at this point because the 1B situation, the goalie situation that the Devils have right now, if the Hamburglar is it, I'm going to go with him. But it's nice knowing that Nico Dawes will have an opportunity with Akira Schmid to go far in the playoffs with Utica. Get that experience, boys, because we're going to thank Tom Fitzgerald for this moment that's, I'm going to say, probably one of the most underrated moments of Tom Fitzgerald's tenure, that he's saving the future and letting it develop while we have fun with the Hamburglar. Scott Wedgwood, by the way, you know, God love him. I mean, he would, he would surprise us with his play. Arizona getting a 4th round pick for him. I mean, the Devils put him on waivers, I thought, a little too early. But that's okay. I'm glad he's doing well. Here's a quote here. I would say Kokkonen is the closest right now. It looks like him, then Wood, and then Tyce Thompson basically coming back. I think that's what Lindy Ruff said today. Thompson and Miles Wood spent majority of their rehabbing together over the last few months. Two grew close. Yeah, again, I like to see Tyce Thompson. I like to see Miles Wood. Hopefully he's not coming back too early. But you just want to get your reps in. You just want to get that game day feeling that you can't get anywhere in practice. And looking forward towards next season. Mason Geertsen, hey, the big fan base of his out Edmonton came out the other day while the Devils were out on their Western Canadian trip. Good to see. Again, here's another character guy. Just these charismatic players. Great in the locker room. Very underrated. If you remember Jim McKenzie, Turner Stevenson, these were great teammates. And they had a instrumental run in Stanley Cup teams. All right. Well, want to thank all those. This has been an extended version of the Woo Report. We haven't done a good Woo Report in a while. I've been pretty busy. Tomorrow, Devils Rangers. Vinny Parisi and I will be doing Game Day Live. 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. And Scotty, a SiriusXM Liquid Metal, and I will be recapping the game that was. There's going to be a lot of Hamburglar talk. I'll tell you that. It's going to be a lot of Hamburglar talk. I think Tom Fitzgerald did a great job by doing nothing. He didn't screw it up. He made gains by standing pat. Trust me, you heard it here first. I've been very critical of this team in the last few years. But I think Fitzgerald got it right here by not doing anything. And thank goodness he didn't cave in to peer pressure and just make a deal for making deal's sake. I think he really believes that this team is going to be a wonderful team. And I'll give Tommy Fitz the benefit of the doubt that he's got some Fitz magic going, that he can predict the future. And hopefully we will see very soon the future Stanley Cup champions, New Jersey Devils. Remember this moment when the Hamburglar came to New Jersey. And Nico Dawes is going to now have his chance at the AHL level to go far in the playoffs. Remember this moment. Remember this moment when Nico Dawes, all the pressure's not on Nico Dawes. And the Devils will finish out the season feeling good. They got the Hamburglar. They've got that goaltender. Not of the future, but just to bridge us to that the glory days are about to be upon us. I want to thank all those listening in to the Woo Report. Dropping the podcast at midnight. A great tomorrow. Devils Rangers. Remember, Game Day Live, 6 p.m. Eastern. Devils After Dark, after the game. Scotty, SiriusXM, Liquid Metal, and I will recap the game that was. Also, been busy. Check out my blogs tomorrow. HockeyBuzz.com. I'm going to try to write for Pucks and Pitchforks as well. Go to that site. Nick Villano, Editor-in-Chief, PucksandPitchforks.com. State of the Fan address, running Wednesday during the game when the Devils play Toronto. Listen to that. It's always fun. All right, folks. This is it. Thank you for joining me. Till next time, this is the Woo Report. Let's go, Devils.